I love his music now more than I did, and it's just an incredible. What an artist!
A legend isn't a legend without help and guidance. Welcome to the película. We are so glad to be the estreno with this special film, Bob Marley, One Love. Congratulations on this beautiful film and life experience for you.
Thank you.
How did that evolve with you, this role, this man we all seem to know? And was there sometime you can recall you felt you were ready, that you were like really integrating the whole Bob essence in you?
There was a lot of coaches on the movie, singing, choreography, dancing, acting, language. So there's many months of talking about or discussing Bob, like his what Bob's psychological point of view was, what his experience was as a child, and trying to understand what that is. And then after a while, when I watch him, certain things start to make sense. And you know, he had a really specific way, and he, you know, when he was angry and all of that. But it's always coming from the psychology of him. I guess all I'm saying is that there's a huge amount of experts who were able to help me in that process, and many months of talking about him all day with lots of different people. So we were trying to understand how he moved by trying to understand what happened to him and what his experience was as a child. It sounds pretentious, but it's the only way, I feel. Otherwise, you're just doing a caricature, you know, you're just doing a imitation. In the film, Rita says that she had to be a wife and a soldier at the same time. We women have to be many things all the time, and finally, you know, through experience, we learned that we can do it all. What did you find out you could do or be after experiencing this role and being inspired and guided by the great Rita Marley? Oh, that's such a lovely question. Everything. Undeniably everything. And that's not in a uber strong superhero-esque way. It's in the possibilities are truly endless, because I don't like putting parameters around my capabilities. And one thing that I've learned through this production is that, I mean, I've just played a real person. I'm able to do that. That is something that I have done. And if I never do it again, then I've actually done it. It happened. And through Mrs. Marley, I was able to learn just how to harness power. Your power is always within you, and just how to make sure that it's always apparent to people who maybe underplay or undermine you. That's something that's really landed in me. Something that really struck me from the film was that we never get to see Bob being truly alone. He always had his support system around him, his circle. We are watching the story of this leader, but can you guide us through the importance of the message of community we get to see in the film?
Yeah, look, we were very blessed to have Bob's real music in the film, and his lyrics say it all, actually. His lyrics was the script in a lot of ways for us. It was the backbone to the film, and it was us really filling in the rest around that. And which period of life we were going to choose to focus on. And I think early on, we felt that there was a natural structure from 1976 to 1978 because of how things had gotten politically in Jamaica, the assassination attempt on Bob's life, and what propelled him to create Exodus, which we now know as one of the greatest albums, if not the greatest album of the 20th century. And so just there was an inherent structure there. You know, you have a star in Jamaica. He was a star, but he was not a star in the rest of the world. So there was a journey for him to go on. He was a man on a quest. And so you have the inciting incident, you have these peaks and valleys, and you have this rich period of musical creation, this gift that he's left us with. And now it's like up to us to unbox this gift. It's like, here, he dropped the music off and now go discover what it was all about. And what a rich opportunity for us as a filmmaker. That's a playground. And to have the support of the family, it was paramount in making this movie. So that's, I hope that people, will understand Bob's legacy even more if we protected it right.
On December 3rd, 1976, would-be assassins invaded Bob Marley's home and attempted to take the life of the singer, his wife, and
the authenticity in the dialect is remarkable. Can you guide us on the importance of that for the film, as it takes you and makes you more immersed in the story, and of course on hearing but more, understanding really what Bob was saying? And I know you got involved in the script with the patois, of course.
Yeah, the patois is everything. How Bob spoke and the authenticity was the first conversation at at Brian Robbins' house. The head of Paramount and Ziggy and everyone was there, and we, really early days, and we spoke about authenticity, and that was the most important thing to the family, to me, to the studio. And so yeah, we were good from the beginning. We always knew that was never going to be, there was never going to be any whitewashing of the language. If you understand, great. In Jamaica, everyone understands. If you're not in Jamaica and you don't, then you'll understand the emotion of the scene, and you'll understand the emotion of the story. And the truth is, if you're not Jamaican and you listen to Bob across 3 or 4 hours of interviews, you're not going to understand everything he's saying. That's just facts. I didn't. I even spoke to Jamaicans who came to my house to help me, and there were parts of Bob's interviews where they even said, I don't know what he's saying. And we'd slow it down to half speed and then to, quarter speed. And you just don't know, because he was a human, and sometimes he mumbled, and sometimes he was trying to say something and wasn't clear in himself. He was trying to figure it out. So we tried to stay true to all of that. And I feel very proud that there are a number of lines in the film that came straight out of all of those files that Sadella sent me. Every 5 minutes, there's 2 or 3. And we fought to get them in, and they're in, and they feel so true and so satisfying, because it's they're things that Bob said, and some of the powerful things that Bob said, so many examples, but yeah.
Can you walk me through the importance of community in Jamaican culture and how this is beautifully portrayed in the film?
Oh, we thrive off of that. We're community based. I think that without that, nothing would get done. We go with each other. We move as a pack. And I think that there's always power in numbers, and there's power in conversation. And you can just walk down the street and talk to a random person in Jamaica and get a story, get some wisdom, get a laugh, get some guidance. And usually it's from an elder. It's always the elders that are imparting something on you that will make you question your life and your choices, which is beautiful. So I'm glad that we're able to shoot in Jamaica to really capture that, and that we see moments of Bob on his own where he gets to just be with himself. They're fleeting, but nonetheless they're there. But the rest of the time, it's really important for us to, as an audience, to see who he was surrounded by and who he was influenced by and where he gained his inspiration from. Usually that was from the band, but there's other people also that are by his side. And I'm thankful that the globe gets to learn of his trusted ones. A legend isn't a legend without help and guidance.
Portraying a person that's alive seems like the biggest responsibility. And what struck you the most about Chris Blackwell's relationship with Bob, and how did you work on those little important details with Kingsley and also with Lashana?
Yeah, I mean, It's always scary playing anyone who has lived, is alive. It was particularly scary when we premiered the movie in Jamaica and Chris Blackwell was sitting in the seat in front of me watching the film for the first time, and I was watching him watch me play him. It was it was intense, and I wouldn't recommend that on anyone. It was very stressful. But, finding out, there's so much information about Bob Marley and Chris Blackwell out there, book after book and film after film. So, documentary at least after, to find the truth behind their relationship is a challenge, and you have to kind of glean it from between the lines. One thing which really struck me in Chris's book was that he says that Bob and him would love talk about the music. They would like geek out on the craft and frequency and tempo and all, the kind of real nitty gritty of production. But when it came to like life and gossip, they just chat. He said that they spent a lot of time sitting in silence, like listening to music. And for me, that spoke volumes about the intimacy between them. It takes confidence and closeness to sit in another person's silence. So we tried to find that in that scene when he comes and tells, when Chris hears from Bob that he has cancer, and they sit and they kind of contemplate what that means. And yeah, for me, that was a really important thing. And humor as well. I think, they were friends. They clearly were friends. They more than just good business partners and a mutual respect around the industry and the business. They liked hanging out. And so we found fun. We found, in that scene when they're designing the record cover and Neville Garrick's presenting Exodus, and then Bob and Chris have that chat. There's humor and there's lightness to their relationship, which I think Chris testifies to.
I'm so curious to ask you, what was the most rewarding thing about going back to Jamaica with this project with Rita Marley, work alongside her and Siggy and the whole family in this film?
It was beautiful. It was beautiful, full stop. But to get to finish the shoot there, it felt like we were bringing it back home, bringing it back to its roots, and really making a point to introduce Jamaica as the number one character in the movie, because it absolutely is a character in the movie. It has to be. It's about Bob and it's about Jamaica. And it just felt right and justified, and hiring Jamaican crew, using the beautiful locations, giving the Jamaica something to feel proud of, and also something that they were a part of because we're on their land. Felt right and honest, and without that, we would have had a beautiful film, but with Jamaica involved, we got the cherry on top.
Thank you, Reynaldo, for being with us on the película, and thank you for making a film for the people, as Bob did music for the people. Thank you for being with us on the película.
Thank you so much.
No guns can stop this message. I want the world to change.
My message to you.